Hi, I'm Rachel. Welcome to my channel, La Bricoleuse. Recent articles in Slate and the Wall Street Journal portray the MFA, the Master of Fine Arts degree, as a cross between a higher ed grift and a guaranteed deep six for your credit score. You'll find these stories linked in the video description below if you haven't read them, but this quote pretty much sums them up. New American's Education Policy Program Director, Kevin Carey, called master's degrees
The second biggest scam in higher education.
The Wall Street Journal article focused on a specific program, the MFA in filmmaking, at a specific school, Columbia University, and makes the claim that the program's debt to income ratio leaves alumni financially hobbled for life. Actual quote.
No matter where you believe the culpability lies,
Colleges and universities conferring master's degrees with six-figure debt loads are using those graduate students as income streams. Unless you or your family have the backing of extensive amassed wealth, taking on significant debt for an MFA is a dubious choice. There are, however, MFA programs that provide financial aid in the form of assistantships, tuition waivers, fellowships, and more. And those are the programs I'll talk about here that you might want to consider. This video will help you answer the question, should I get an MFA? We'll talk about the pros, cons, and questionable aspects of a Master of Fine Arts degree. At the end of the video, I'll give you some tips on how to spot grad programs that might want your money more than your success, and strategies for how to decide whether to pursue an MFA or not. What qualifies me to make this video? I didn't take out any student loans to get my MFA in 2013. I teach in an MFA program. I have worked at 3 professional theaters associated with graduate programs in the dramatic arts. I've talked to hundreds of MFAs and current graduate students about their educational and professional choices.
let's start with the positives.
A great reason to get an MFA is if you aspire to teach. It's a terminal degree in a lot of artistic disciplines, and it's kind of a ticky box for academic hiring committees. If a job is posted with MFA preferred, your resume will rank above candidates with more professional experience but no degree. Unfair? Yes, that's academic bureaucracy in the US. And if you want to teach high school, in many states, a master's degree qualifies you for a higher pay rate. Something else to consider. Getting an MFA gives you a dedicated window of time to fully immerse yourself in your art. Whether it's poetry or typography design, oil painting, or whatever. Most MFA programs in the US are 2 or 3 year programs. And many artists find the prospect of devoting that extended period of time to the study of their craft to be appealing. Be skeptical of any program that's shorter than a 2-year degree. These MFA in a year programs are often the ones designed to generate revenue for their school. Don't romanticize that commitment to your art, though. Graduate school is difficult and can be all-consuming. You may need to put some aspects of your life on hiatus while you pursue the degree. Postpone entering a competitive ballroom dancing championship, for example, or take a couple years off attending Comic-Con.
Plans don't have to be linear or sequential.
Some people, when faced with the prospect of finishing their bachelor's degree, look to a master's program as the next step. I did this. I did it partly because I thought it was what everyone in my field expected of me, and partly because, if I'm honest, I didn't want to be done with school. I loved college, and I struggled at the retail and customer service jobs I worked during my breaks. 3 semesters into that master's degree, I recognized I'd made a mistake and withdrew. I don't regret the experience per se, but I wish I'd had a mentor advise me that there are more options than graduate school and a job you suck at. So if you're still in undergrad, I encourage you to stop and evaluate why you want to get a master's degree now. Many graduate programs look for candidates who have work and life experience post college or pre college for non traditional students who got their undergraduate degrees later in life. I just encourage you to ask yourself the question. The answer may be yes.
Don't be surprised.
Unless you go to a low residency program, you will probably have to quit your day job to focus on graduate study. I know some folks in acting MFA programs who have been able to maintain regular employment as waiters and bartenders and gig workers, but some graduate programs prohibit students from taking any outside work during the academic year. Many people I've talked with mention acquiring a professional network as a good reason for getting an MFA. I'm of two minds about that. It's true that your career after grad school can potentially benefit from connections to alumni, faculty, and your peers in the program. If you establish a reputation for yourself and your work, this can be an incredible professional resource. If the quality of your work is haphazard or slipshod, you might find the opposite is true. If you become known as someone who can't deliver quality work in a reasonable time frame, those peers, faculty, and alumni aren't likely to reach out to connections on your behalf.
Heads up, be cautious.
Chances are, if you learned about an MFA program from an ad served on your Facebook or Instagram feed, if it was a banner ad at the top of one of your Gmail folders, or it sponsored your favorite podcast, that might be a program that's a moneymaker. Schools with funding awards and assistantships generally won't buy digital ads outside of professional conference websites or industry journals. Instead, you'll find out about them through a recruitment fair sponsored by a professional organization or a spotlight feature in a trade publication. Here's a tip. Reach out via email to the directors of programs you're interested in and ask, well, whatever questions you have, but specifically, how many students they accept each year. If they avoid giving you a number, be suspicious. Unlike undergraduate programs, master's programs don't have to publish any information about their application to admission ratio or any data about the program. That allows unscrupulous universities to accept far more applicants than you might think and reap the financial rewards of those large incoming classes, especially schools with name recognition and a branded reputation. That said, Yale is a good example of a private Ivy League university that recently committed to financial equity. They announced in June of 2021 that they would eliminate all tuition costs for dramatic art MFA students. Although they don't have to broadcast the data, public schools do have to disclose admission statistics for master's programs to the state, particularly the acceptance ratio of in-state to out-of-state residents. True fact, the MFA program where I work, a state school, accepts at least 2 students per year and no more than 3. If a school doesn't offer any financial support, honestly, I wouldn't go there unless I had enough personal wealth saved up that it wouldn't adversely affect my financial situation, no matter how prestigious the name. Don't let a school sell you a load of bullshit about the value of their degree. If you look at the costs and the projected payment plan for loans, and you do decide that it's worth it to take on debt for the degree, great. Just don't make that decision without a full understanding of what it means. Talk to a credit counselor if need be. There are many paths to success in the arts, and an MFA can be one of them. But it's not the only way to hone your practice or cultivate a network. And master's programs aren't going anywhere. The option will still be there, no matter how long you take to research all the possibilities, to save some money, to take a professional opportunity in the field, or some other reason altogether.
And if you do decide an MFA is right for you, no matter when, where, or how you pay for it, I wish you all the best luck and success.